What's up, everybody? Like I promised earlier, I was gonna make this video for the Infinity crowd that's interested in HP tuners. So I'm currently running the latest beta that I know of, and this is version 4.9.39. There's no current update available for it. So again, in order to because of the licensing, I guess, with HP tuners. Um, you have to have the latest beta or the latest stable, which will actually work. Um, and you have to have your interface connected, and you have to be on the internet. So here we go. So I'm gonna open this file up, and I have a file here that I took this evening. Two things, well, one thing really. Two things. One, unplug the fan relay because this thing will run the fans during the scanning process. That's number one. Number two, um, do not have if you're running the JB4, uh, like myself and DD and Spider are, unhook it from underneath the hood where it connects. I believe that's to the map sensors. Um, disconnect it because it will not scan or connect to the car where that thing is hooked up. Drove me nuts. I thought something was wrong with my interface. I updated the firmware. Blah blah blah. Just make sure the JB4 is completely disconnected. All right, so here we go. This is the stock tune file, 2016 Q50 Rexport. And of course, it wants to talk to HP tuners before it lets you open the file up. Here are your OS options. We have the extended data stream, which is supposed to give us knock retard, knock counts, and all that other stuff. And then there's a speed density enhance where you can actually go in and modify speed density tables for accurate fueling. I have not applied any of these patches to my OS. I have not done anything. So here is the engine tab. Now in here, there's different stuff like I have no idea what VO2 is, but whatever. From my GM experience, the IET calibrations, you normally don't want to touch these unless you're changing to a different IET. Pressure ratio, exhaust pressure estimated. One thing about HP tuners, if you hover over top of a button, it will tell you at the bottom what the description is. And this one says this is the estimated exhaust pressure at the O2 sensor used for airflow calculations. I'm going to assume we're not going to mess with those ever. Map, max intake pressure in kPa. I'm assuming we can adjust these. Pretty sure Sonic, if he's watching this, he can comment maximum intake pressure allowed at the map. So if you're only allowed 246 kPa, do the math, figure out what it is. It's probably 14 pounds, I guess. I'm sleepy, so I'm just doing this just to show everybody what's going on. Pressure ratio max is the maximum boost in bar that you're allowed to have. Well, that the turbo is going to make. I'm pretty sure you can change this and raise it, but again, pressure ratio target cylinder 1. Basically, I'm assuming this is max boost pressure. Pretty sure that can be adjusted. Cylinder 2, cylinder 3, cylinder 4, blah 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 blah. Math calibrations. Now here's where it gets interesting because, and I'll show you in the scan that I did. I created my scan graph based on these tables, but when you rev the motor and the airflow goes up, this number comes back. So it's backwards from General Motors. Like when idling was around here somewhere, when I revved it, it came down here when it got in boost. It's new to me. Sonic has more experience in this area than I do. And this is for the same, but this is the mass sensor for bank 2. So those can be adjusted. Now, the VE tables, volumetric efficiency tables, in the factory operating system show NAN. But when you apply the patch, these all change. I had to pull up a different one that I actually applied the patch to, but I did not write to the car. General tab, basically what size engine and liters. This is manifold to displacement ratio. I don't think we should mess with that. This is your idle speed settings. Electronic throttle. I wouldn't mess with this unless you change throttle bodies. I know it's a pain in the ass in the GM side to get this particular area right. You got to set the, I think, what is it called? I can't remember right now. Don't ask, because again, I'm getting ready to go to bed, but I wanted to make this before it got too late. Startup cranking, throttle. Probably not going to mess with that. This basically pedal angle when the accelerator is completely pressed down. Don't think you should mess with that, but as we learn these this platform with the HP tuners, we'll figure out all that stuff. You can adjust the cams here, intake cam, depending on what mode you're in, and I have no clue what this stuff means. Pressure control is an interesting one because you can change your desired boost. I'm assuming this is bank 1 versus bank 2. Maximum boost allowable per bank or base. This is still new. Air temp boost correction. That's 1.0. I would just leave it alone. No correction. Map boost feedback, integral and derivative. I know they do on the Mopar side. I don't know what this does for Nissan, but we'll figure it out, right? Turbocharger. You can adjust your wastegate positions with the EGR on and off. However that works, nobody really knows at this point. Triple speed limiter. I'm assuming this is a red sport thing only. Wastegate compensation correction or what have you. Another interesting area for us is I would not touch the stratified and homogeneous modes. I know they do on the GM side, but I would not touch them. And I'm, again, this is still new to us. We're still learning it. Oxygen sensors, EQ conversion. If I change this here to lambda, basically whatever your EQ ratio is, as far as your lambda, whatever you want it to be, what it's actually going to convert to. That's what I'm assuming. Open loop base fuel target lambda, based on engine load and RPM. What you want your lambda to be, and high detonation. I'm assuming that's going to add fuel. It starts detonating. Here you can set your rev limit, your park neutral rev limited, what your absolute cutoff is. Didn't mean to do that. Okay. Spark limit, maximum spark events you can have, idle spark. Then you have your low detonation, high detonation timing tables, maximum brake torque spark, minimum spark, maximum spark advance, spark retard limit. Basically, how far can the computer pull back the timing? In this case, in certain areas, you can do negative 17 degrees, negative 10 degrees, depending on what your load is and your RPM is. All right. So dwell. No one should ever touch these unless you change the ignition coil and you got a hotter coil and you know the specs. I wouldn't mess with it. Knock sensors, you can change your sensitivity of your knock sensors. I'm assuming, let me read this real quick. Knock threshold. Also, just find knock minus noise is greater than this. I'm assuming if you raise it, it raises the threshold of what it sees as knock before it declares it as knock. Torque management. Estimated torque. I'm assuming you can raise this because with the GM uh, direct injection cars, if you get to a certain torque level and you're commanding more, but it thinks it wants less, it will actually close the timing if I remember that correctly. Um, Load on the torque converter. Well, there's this load torque conversion. Not exactly sure what that does. Here's your torque limits and here's your driver demand, depending on your pedal position. This is something we're gonna have to learn. I don't know if Sonic's tested this or not, but engine diagnostic. Here's when you can turn off your various codes. So if you delete all of your cats, the sensor bank one, sensor one is gonna be your primaries. Bank one, sensor two is gonna be in bank two, sensor two is gonna be your secondaries. If you delete them, you're gonna have to turn these off. Then there should be a catalyst system spec something. I can't remember the exact wording. Catalyst system efficiency low or something to again. Don't I'm sleepy, so pay no attention. I'm looking for it. Where is it? Fuel system to rich or lean. Um, Misfire detection. You can cut that off. Disable those codes. If there it is. Catalyst system efficiency below thresholds. If you delete the cats altogether, you can uncheck these and never see those codes again. I couldn't remember what they were. But yeah, here's where you can turn off all your check engine lights. So if you start deleting EGR, and I don't even know if the car has it on there, but still, this is where you can get rid of all that stuff. There's nothing in trans yet, and I know they're working on it, I think, but we can't change anything in the transmission. But if it's there, eventually HP Tuners will include it. Then you have the fuel system. You can change fuel pump pressure. Um, I'm assuming this is the low side pressure. Oh, that's high side. Okay, megapascals. That's high side. All right. Uh, System. Um, I wouldn't mess with that, and I don't know what that does. I wouldn't mess with it. Speedo. So we cannot remove the governor at this point. That's what I'm assuming. So that's to look at what is this? Oh, remote tuning. That's new. I haven't seen that before, but HP Tuner is always throwing something new in their stuff. So mind you, this is beta. Um, yeah. So here's where you will make all your power at in the engine, and of course in the engine in the tab. Now, scanner. So I had to pull the layout for the Q50 because I had to update the layout. Yeah. Okay. So I have a folder specifically for layouts, and as you see, I modified it tonight at 8:08 p.m. So I was able to add, and I'll bring up a tune file if I can. I think it's. I may have. I don't know if I. Anyway, we'll find out. You open up all your channels here. Your channel config is basically all the stuff that you're monitoring on the vehicle. I got to go up to HP Tuners. Let's see. Channels. So these are the channels that I was monitoring tonight after I brought the vehicle home. I found out there were more channels available, and for Sonic and DDN Spider, we have EQ error that's actually functioning. I was surprised to see that working. The short term, few terms work on math, long terms work now. It just caught me off guard when I saw these working. But let me think this is graph test, graph layout test. So it's only like not even running that long. But if you look at EQ error, this is the one that we were mainly concerned about. One of them that we were mainly concerned about. And I think I'm just revving it or something. But it shows basically your percentage. I don't know where 598% is, but that basically shows you how much error is what's coming out the tailpipe that the computer is adjusting. Well, past the O2 sensors that the computer is adjusting for versus what's actually commanded. And as you can see at idle, it's like no correction. I think I have idle. I added some extra stuff, so let me find this. Idle. Idle corrected document is not showing anything. Okay, what is going on here? Hold on. It's 600 RPM. Where is the idle speed? It's not showing here, but it's measuring. It's actually showing in the gauge, so I know I'm logging and it's got to find it somewhere in here. Oh, engine idle. I'm sleepy. As I'm revving the motor, you can see the correction that it's making. Also, on the math side, I play this file again. You can see the how far the fuel trims are off. Now, mind you, the EQ error I believe I'm getting from the wide bands, and of course the short terms come from the wide bands because the car has wide bands. Lucky Nissan. But you can see as the RPMs come up, like right here, when I go to rev the engine up, the numbers go backwards the opposite direction. Like the frequency goes down as the airflow increases across the mass. That's the best way I can determine it. We can see spark advance based on engine load, but I made this table based on the spark table that's available in the tune file. Knock, we're getting movement here, but we're not getting an actual reading from when the vehicle's revving and what load it's in. I'm assuming that extended data stream patch will give us the actual knock counts. I know there's a knock count, knock feedback, and knock that weren't available in the last time I scanned this car. So it's probably something that they're adding, but I know they need to have this. You have to have the patches to enable this in order to see long-term plus future is something I learned from the Mopar side. Pay no attention to that. It's a combination of your long-term, your long-term, and your short terms. Because Mopars, everything is based on the map. There's no mass airflow, and there's no way to disable long-term fuel temps when scanning the Mopar cars. All right, so these are the channels that I'm monitoring. Most of them probably won't mean anything. What is this? Don't know what that is. I know something I logged, something I'm using. Oh, high pressure fuel pump delivery duration. Don't know what that is. I just decided to map it, monitor it, whatever. All kinds of stuff. Boost pressure sensor, charger, coolant temperature, which I know is incorrect. I think I got a bad sensor, but that's a known problem. There's no way it was like 70 degrees outside. There's no way the coolant temp in the intercooler system was 59 degrees. There's no way. I don't think that's possible. Engine coolant temp, absolute load, throttle position, blah blah blah, mass airflow, rate, intake air temp, um, boost pressure, blah blah blah, turbo vane position. I'm assuming this is wastegate position. What the EQ ratio of the the air fuel ratio coming past the O2s, what the wideband voltage is. This really comes in handy, especially if you got a bad wideband or bad sensor. You can see exactly what's going on. Chart versus time is real interesting because you get this graph that looks similar to um, what you get in the JV4. I have not seen what it looks like in Ecutech, but yeah, you can see the different parameters and see them in the graph and see what's going on. I'm assuming. Okay, so let's go right here for the EQ. As I was throttling the car, it was changing. Of course, the commanded air fuel ratio was changing. Of course, this is the gauge. Um, we're still not getting knock retard, but you can see negative 8 pounds of boost. That's basically vacuum. A better way to measure it would be to watch the KPA, map KPA. And as you saw for the video I posted yesterday or the day before, I was getting up to 230 kPa. Of course, I'm sitting still at this point. I took a long ride, like 45 minutes to an hour and a half ride. There's no point, showing all that. But yeah, this is all the stuff that's available with HP Tuners. Now, do we know what all these tables do yet? No. I know myself, DDN Spider, Sonic, and somebody else. We're all trying to pool information and stuff, gather info and stuff on the HP Tuners forum. But with this capability, with the capabilities of this software, um, yeah, once we figure this out, hell to come for um, Ecutech. Um, Ecutech still does not have transmission control that we know of. HP Tuners is working on it, from what I know of. The one thing that's been concerning the Nissan crowd is these spark tables and all this safety stuff that's in the older like G37s and stuff like that. But we're still waiting on information on that. But yeah, this is basically it. HP Tuners, stuff that we can see and we can tinker with so far. One day, when I feel squirrely, I'm going to apply this extended data stream and this speed density, enhance, and write the car and see what I can see. That'll be when I'm comfortable with the software on this platform. So that's basically it. That's everything. If you want more info, I guess we can. I don't know when. What's going on here? I don't know. There we go. I don't know when. Sonic is going to get his logs to me, but eventually, I guess he will. Oh, the zoom. What I was doing was zooming in and zooming out, just in case anybody was wondering. You can actually zoom in and watch the graph at a quicker response speed. Um, Normally, when you like when I did the full throttle runs the other night, I just basically highlighted one particular area, and you can export part of the log out and paste it wherever you post it, save it, whatever. But yeah, this is it. Um, I'm really excited. I'm almost tempted to go void the warranty now, but I'm going to hold off until we're watching the progress. I'm really watching the progress on the forums, and so is DD and Spider, and so is Sonic. He's only under a different name, but I figured out who he was, and we've been in communication with each other. So you have to. I wouldn't touch most of these tables because I don't know what they do. Um, Eventually, Evan from HP Tuner, I guess he's going to release like a tuning guide to explain what all this stuff does. So at least we can know what does what, and we don't want to blow anything up and stuff. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell. I hope this answers a lot of questions. 'Cause, this is basically what I know at this point. Peace out.